brother engineer Festus Ngeno, Principal Secretary, State Department of Environment and Climate Change, Republic of Kenya. My other brother from my other mother, Professor Patrick Van Coen, CEO of Global Center on Adaptation and Chancellor of University of Nairobi. Her Excellency Gladys Wanga, Governor of Homa Bay. Distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, hamujambo. Mimi niko nyumbani. I am very honored to address you today at this 4th Africa Adaptation Acceleration Program Partnership Forum, whose theme is doubling down on climate adaptation in Africa through AAAP. Now, when I was thinking about this, I thought that considering the current and projected state of climate change on the continent, this theme cannot be more appropriate. And it indeed attests to the incredible foresight of my bank president, President Adesina, and Patrick Van Coen in establishing AAAP. It encapsulates the efforts required by, I emphasize, our partnership between the African Development Bank and the Global Center on Adaptation, along with like-minded partners to ramp up efforts and investments in climate action on the continent through the Africa Adaptation Acceleration Program. Now, Patrick says it very eloquently and passionately. And the thing is, what I hear from him is that adaptation is no longer a choice for Africa. It is an absolute necessity. This is because climate change impacts are worsening, threatening ecosystems, economies, and the lives of millions across the continent. In May, and I think a part of April, we saw the devastating impacts of climate change in Kenya here. We must therefore scale up adaptation action and mobilize commensurate financial resources, as Patrick was saying, to stop pushing vulnerable population deeper into poverty and destabilizing economies. And this is why, when the African Development Bank and the Global Center on Adaptation launched the Africa Adaptation Acceleration Program 3 years ago, we set an ambitious goal of mobilizing $25 billion for transformative adaptation action in Africa by 2025, of which the African Development Bank promised to contribute 50%, that is about $12.5 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be pleased to note that the African Development Bank is on target to meet its share. We have already mobilized $9.26 billion as adaptation finance by the end of 2023 from our operations alone. While we have, together with the Global Center on Adaptation, laid the foundation for mobilizing the AAAP's partnership share through almost $200 million of upstream support. We are committed to translating, and this is what Patrick was suggesting, the upstream support into tangible projects that will attract funding. In this regard, I am pleased to note that through AAAP, adaptation measures have already been integrated into 68 African Development Bank projects and technical assistance support spanning 41 countries in critical sectors such as agriculture, water supply, sanitation, transport, and urban development, portending profound impact. For example, in agriculture, through 17 of these projects, AAAP has enhanced food security and climate resilience, ensuring that 9.4 million people in 16 countries, particularly in the Sahel, Horn of Africa, and the Zambezi Basin, are better equipped to face climate risks, thereby evidencing that adaptation finance is driving transformational change by helping Africa build a future where climate resilience and sustainable development go hand in hand. Moreover, under AAAP's infrastructure pillar, 28 projects are currently being supported across 23 countries, ensuring that roads, ports, and cities are climate resilient. In this case, notable projects include the Kenya-South Sudan Link Road, the Ghana Resilient Infrastructure Roadmap, and the Port of Cotonou expansion project in Benin. In addition, AAAP's technical assistance support through expertise support the integration of climate-informed measures, nature-based solutions, and resilient maintenance practices into project operations, safeguarding them from climate resilience such as flooding. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, in recognition that Africa's future belongs to the youth, and I can see a lot of the youth here, you must be the engines of innovation, entrepreneurship, and climate action. AAAP's Youth Adapt program has already invested $5.5 million to support green and climate resilient development businesses by 41 young entrepreneurs across 20 African countries. You love this. This support has already generated 9,000 jobs, new jobs I must add, grown revenues by 123%, and attracted $7.6 million in additional investments. It is impressive what the young innovators have achieved in a very short 3 years. And as a result, we are inspired and encouraged by these outcomes. At COP29 in Baku later in November, we will therefore launch an expanded Youth Adapt model offering a launchpad, accelerator, and post-acceleration support that will guarantee the sustainable translation of climate-related innovations by our youth into tangible, investable projects. Ladies and gentlemen, to complement the African Development Bank's effort to facilitate increased access to climate finance for the continent, AAAP is supporting African countries directly access multilateral climate funds through the accreditation of entities in countries such as Senegal, Ghana, and DRC. AAAP also recently supported Cote d'Ivoire in establishing a $1 billion sovereign fund to mobilize private capital for adaptation investments in emerging markets and developing countries. In conclusion, it is time, as Patrick loves to say, that we double down on adaptation in Africa. AAAP upstream efforts are commendable and spotlighting adaptation opportunities, while the climate action window of the Africa Development Bank, as well as the country adaptation compacts, generate pipelines of investable projects for which we must leverage on the global commitments to double adaptation finance to finance these projects. In about a week's time, as Patrick just mentioned earlier, African leaders and global partners will meet at the United Nations General Assembly to continue this vital conversation at the Summit of the Future. I therefore hope today that today's forum lays the foundation for renewed commitment and bold adaptation actions on the global stage, including strengthening the centrality of AAAP to Africa's adaptation action, in which climate resilience and sustainable development are pursued in tandem. I thank you very much.